Welcome everyone to Spurs Debate TV. This is a live stream. We need to talk about Tottenham Hotspur. We need to talk about that result on the weekend, and we are going to do that over the next 60 minutes or so. Please get your comments in, like the stream, share the stream, and we've got our guests waiting to get stuck in, and we're not going to wait. We're going to get stuck in. So starting with you, Sid, welcome to the show, mate, on your debut. How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for having us. It's been a long time, and we've got a lot to get off our chests.
We have indeed, mate. We have indeed. Welcome, Pipes. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, Josh. I can only echo Sydney's sentiments. It's been a bit of a minute since the whole gang was all here together. And a few things have happened since we last all reconnected or connected. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Mate. But I'm good.
There is, man. There definitely is. And last but not least, Don P, man. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Josh. Yeah, I'm as good as a Tottenham supporter could be in the present circumstances. But we'll get into it.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of therapy needed. And in case any of you are thinking, hold up, I've seen these guys before. These are the guys from PRTV. So big up PRTV as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to that channel. Hopefully we'll have a couple more guests on tonight as well. But yeah, do get your questions in. We'll try and answer every question. And let's get started. And I'm going to start the first question of the show. And it's not a yes or no answer. You can answer it yes or no. But are Spurs going to get relegated? Because that is the title of the show. So, Sid, let's start with you, mate. Are Spurs going to get relegated? Because that's what everyone's asking right. Are Tottenham seriously going to get relegated this season? Is it looking likely, Sid?
Listen. Before I answer that question, I just want to thank you because you're a Gary Barlow. It's like take that. You're putting the band back together. We're just missing one person, Sam. Yeah, Spurs for life. But do you know what? Oh, I personally don't think we're going to get relegated. However, last season was an absolute shit show, and we almost went down because we gave up on the Premier League just to win the Europa League in his second season, and he delivered. However, 22 games in the Premier League last season, and the fact that we got accustomed to losing games. It became the norm to lose games. We're Tottenham Hotspur. It shouldn't be the norm to start losing games, but we did. This season, we've got in Frank, and the football's not got any better. It's got worse, and the players have got used to it. It's like a habit of a lifetime where they just can't win a game for toffees, pardon the pun, but can't win anything. This analogy about you're never too good to go down, mate. The table never lies. You've got the table up there. The table never lies. The form never lies. In fact, if you're going off form, we're bottom of the league, even Burnley and whatever. I read a stat today where Wrexham, Macclesfield, and somebody else have beaten more Premier League teams than Tottenham have this season, right? This year, in 2026. So the answer to your question is, I don't think we'll get relegated. However, it could go down to the last game of the season, and it's going to be squeaky bum time, big time.
Definitely is. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. Whilst we're looking at this league table, I'm going to put up the fixtures as well. Now, I've done my little 5-year-old writing on this on the next 6 fixtures. And I've also done my 5-year-old predictions of what I think we might have to do to get out of this relegation battle. And I've put a D there for Fulham as a draw, and I've put a win, I'm hoping, for the Palace game because they're not playing that well at the moment, although they are picking up points. Liverpool, we never win at Anfield, so that's a loss. I'll put a win for Forest as a relegation 6-pointer. Sunderland, I've lost form recently. I'm hoping we can snatch a draw. And then a win at Brighton at home to secure or be there or thereabouts, for that sort of security going into the last few games. This is just the next 6 fixtures. We've got 12, I believe. But Pipes, looking at these fixtures, mate, I mean, what are you like, man? Are you feeling nervous, or is there surely Tottenham Hotspur going down, are they, Pipes? I mean, seriously.
Well, the theory says No, we're not going down. You put the fixtures up there, and you said, yeah, we can beat Forest, we can beat Brighton. But the sobering truth is that, really and truthfully, we are in, as I've said countless times on our WhatsApp group, we are in, or what we are experiencing is beyond form. It's beyond form. It's a spiral. It's a spiral that was started under the previous, 2 managers ago, under Angie. I said it at the time. He's creating a very dangerous environment where it became acceptable to lose. Yeah, it carried over into this season under Frank. I mean, look. We've had 2 wins at our stadium since the start of the season. We've had 5 wins. 5 wins on our own ground since November 2024. So you're asking me, yeah, we shouldn't go down, but I then have to turn around to you and everybody and the rest of the panel. Where are we going to get these wins from? Because we haven't been winning football matches. You see what I'm saying to you? We're not winning football matches. So the theory says, yes, we can't go down, but really, what is it based on? Because like I said, we're talking 2 years now of piss poor form. You've got players who literally now, character-wise, you wouldn't want any of them next to you on a Saturday night out if it gets on top. Because there's no character in the dressing room. None. So I don't know how to answer your question is the truth, Josh, because we are not demonstrating any capabilities of winning 3 points. I don't see where we get our next win from. Yeah, we've got the new manager who comes in. Okay, the game against the Scum is not going to be defining for our season, but you would still expect a little reaction. 2 reasons: you've got a new manager, and also you've got the fans, which I'm sure we'll probably go on to talk about later. But these players have spent the last year and a half, and again, this was started by Angie. This narrative against the fan base, yeah, that was started by Angie, carried on under Thomas Frank. All these players do is bellyache about the fans. The fans turn up yesterday. What happens? They still don't respond. So like I said, I don't know, Josh. I don't know. The truth be told, I think it's very much 50-50 whether we keep our Premiership status. I'm sorry, but I really don't know, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. I think most people are in the middle at the moment because that Newcastle loss was a killer. I think the Arsenal loss, yeah, they are one of the best teams in Europe right now, let alone the league. Well, best team in Europe, you could argue, finishing top of the.
Don't forget the West Ham loss as well, mate.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's been a lot of home losses, and your home form's what keeps you up. At least keeps you around mid-table. Don P, man. I mean, is it a matter of just a draw and then a win? Like from what I'm seeing there, what I've put there, do you think that's reasonable, or am I being optimistic, thinking we can go to Fulham and draw at the moment?
Yeah, so I think you are being optimistic. But saying that, I disagree with Pipes. I do think that we will maintain our Premiership status.
Based on what?
Although, I'll explain. Yeah, I'll explain. Based on the main reason for us retaining our Premiership status is that I've seen the West Ham and Nottingham Forest fixtures. So, because I'm one of those people, I've done my research. So when I've looked at it, and I've looked at the teams that they're playing, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for them to get, for West Ham to get 5 more points than us. And we've got a 13-goal difference as well. Although saying that, it was 19-goal difference about a week ago. So within the last week, we've conceded 6-goal difference. 6-goal swing between us and West Ham.
Bear this in mind. Sorry to cut you, but we're letting in 2 goals a game now. for the last 6-7 matches.
Understood. But West Ham are also conceding. So why are we staying up? So I think that basically there's three teams in the league that I think will get fewer points than what we will get. But saying that, as I said, when you put those fixtures up, Josh, I do think that you're being optimistic with some of those wins. The game that I think that we will and we should win is probably against the team that's probably got the form table doesn't show it, but the way that they're playing, I think it shows it that they're probably just as bad as us, and that is Palace. Palace managed to pick up points over the weekend. Well, I noticed that the other team got a man sent off, didn't they? And it was really,
And they
really
missed,
squeaky blue. And they
Wolves missed the penalty.
And Wolves missed the penalty. So, and that was against Wolves. So I think Palace, and they're not playing for their manager, and their manager is basically
Edwards.
He signed off as well. He like their manager is, he's Glasner is kind of. I think he's probably checked out almost as much as Van der Ven and Romero as for us.
Yeah.
So so with the Palace manager checking out and the players not really playing for him, that's my real big hope. In fact, I think, but the problem is that Palace have got enough points, so they're not going to be dragged into it. So it's going to be between us and West Ham. But I think that we'll get the points against Palace. Draw, yes, possibly. Loss definitely against Liverpool. I'm not sure about the win against Forest. I think I'd love to get a win, but that might be a draw. And just looking at the Forest team does look better than us. They look like they've got better players than us at the moment. The Brighton result, when was the last time that we beat Brighton?
That's good. That's a very good question.
Good point.
So
Good
I
point.
think even though you've been optimistic with your span of games, so you've got 6 games there. I think it's gonna take us definitely probably up to that 10 games before we start thinking about being anywhere potentially being safe. But I think we'll just have enough to stay up. But that's my take on it. But I could be wrong because I do agree with the saying that you're never too good to go down, and especially with the fact that we've got, as our manager puts it, 10 players plus 3 at the moment. So and it's only going to get worse. Yeah, we've got 1 or 2 players coming back, but the more that those players have been played, they're also going to pick up knocks and injuries. And then when you got people like Gallagher, it's like we're playing with 1 less player anyway. I mean, sorry, I know I shouldn't say. Last thing I'll say on this, but I have to say it about Gallagher. It was his. They did an interview with him about 2 weeks ago, and I think he was talking about the Villa game, and it was really worrying what he was saying. But I genuinely believe it. He was saying that when he was playing in midfield for us, it felt like the other team opposition had an extra player than us, and it's like no matter how much he was running and trying to close down, he couldn't get there. That's how he was playing yesterday. I mean, yesterday against Arsenal as well, and he's played like that. In fact, more or less all of his games. I don't understand how somebody who's probably played for Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, why does he never ever get near the ball? I'll leave it there.
We'll have a debate on that one. Josh, I just want to ask the question, right? You've put these teams up, these results. Something that Don P said, and I want all your opinions on this one, right? Are we, because you looked at the fixtures of Forest, you looked at West Ham's fixtures.
Yeah, West Ham and Forest. That's what I've looked at. Yeah, that's why I'm a bit more confident. Yeah.
Right. So the question I want to ask you three is, looking at these set of fixtures and looking at what Forest and West Ham's, would you rather play teams that are higher than us in the top 10 than teams in the bottom 10? Right. I'll give you my answer, then I want you guys. I think Palace, Forest, Sunderland and Brighton are going to be tough games, even Fulham. Yeah, I would rather play teams that are well and truly above us in like top 5, top 6 than teams that are below us, because they're going to be fighting for their lives. I tell you now, Palace are going to be fighting for their lives. Fulham will do what they always do, give us a fright of our lives, and they'll probably beat us. Palace are that kind of a team where they'll absolutely rattle and shake us. Yeah, Forest will come to us knowing that we're under pressure at home, can't win, and they'll, like you just said, they've probably got better players at the moment. They'll rattle us. So for me, I would rather play the big teams than these little teams because this is where the pressure is going to bounce. I don't know about you guys, but
I'll
that's
tell
my
you why.
opinion.
I tell you why I disagree, Sid. If you don't mind me coming in, Josh.
Go on, yeah.
I tell you why I would
Yeah.
prefer to play bottom teams is because when is the last time that we've ever got a result against Chelsea, Arsenal, yeah, Arsenal, Chelsea, any of the top teams? We don't pick
Right.
up points. The only team that we play that are in the top 6 that we get points off is Man City, and we've already played them twice this season. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why I'd prefer to play
But
bottom.
but then
We never get anything out of it. If you're saying about the mid team tape, if you're talking
mid
about
teams,
like 7, yeah, if you're talking about 6
that's what I
downwards,
mean.
then
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I
That's a
mean.
different argument.
Because
Yeah, okay.
going
That's a
back to
different
what you
argument.
just said,
Yeah.
when was the last time we're getting results against these bottom teams? They're rattling us. West Ham, Wolves. But you know what I mean? Them teams are coming to us and they're getting stuff out of us. So I don't know where we buy the wins from. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you
But
think,
then,
Pipes, and I don't know what you
guys,
think.
how
As I
much
said,
of our recent form is to be down to Frank? Frank's not here now, so surely, if Frank was the problem, we should see a natural improvement on what
That's
Frank's
the
been
issue, though.
doing. Because
That's the issue, though.
really,
That's the issue, though, Josh. That's the $100 million thingies. Our fan base is always looking to kind of paint one person as the victim.
It's
The
not.
fault isn't down to one individual. I know
No.
it's the easy thing to say. You started off with
Yeah.
blame Levy. I don't like Levy, but it's just Levy's fault. It's never. It's not just one person. If you look at the football squad, so manager fault. Thomas Frank is at fault, and he deserved to be sacked. Yeah, because he wasn't good enough. That's one thing. Also, what's obviously clear is our players aren't good enough. Yeah, so that's another thing. Then it's not just the players. Then if you look at our medical staff, it's obviously clear that our medical staff aren't good enough. Then if you look even above that, if you look at our board, yeah, and anybody who Lewis family decide to be or entrust with running this club, they're obviously culpable. Then if you look at our sporting director, he's culpable. So basically, there is not just one. I can't think of one area of the club that we are saying that is proficient or is of a Premiership standard. I can't think of one.
with that being said, the fish, as they say, usually rots on the head. So all those factors do actually lead back to the main source, which is the board. The board, they set the direction of travel of the club. They decide, or through Levy, obviously, but it's a collective, the budget to go for certain players, the budget to go for certain staff in terms of medical department. So all things can be led. Yes, the factors are there, but it's not too difficult to join the dots, really and truthfully. But you see, the problem is now, because we as a fan base now, we're so downtrodden, we're looking at this person, we're looking at that person, we don't know who to blame. But really and truthfully, the blame is fairly easy to the root of it, basically. The root of all evil, yeah, is this board. Because when all said and done, I mean, I must admit, I've been laughing the last couple of weeks and the last few months at the rewriting of Levy with our fans. Because it seems that these people who want to rewrite Levy's history are forgetting that Levy hired Postecoglou. Levy hired Frank. Levy hired the geography supply teacher Lange. And Levy hired the Guna double agent Vinay. But yeah, I'm reading all this about, oh, this wouldn't have happened on Levy's watch, that wouldn't happen on Levy's watch. But Levy hired these people. So this is what our fans do. They tend to rewrite history, or they tend to find, I don't know, saviors that don't really exist, or they will invent coping mechanisms that again are not really seated in reality. So
Pipes, would you say that, whilst we're on this topic of spending wages and being a big six club, as per Ange Postecoglou's comments, are Spurs actually a big six club? Because some would argue we don't act like a big six club. Would you say we've now been replaced by Villa? I mean, I'd open that question to anyone, and people in the comments. Are Tottenham now out the big six and Aston Villa have replaced us?
I think the last 2 years have to tell you that we are not any longer in the big six. We've been fighting among the deadwood, the relegation, for the last 2 seasons. So that alone will tell you. But then again, to counter the argument, though, the media still are almost obsessed with us. You know, our troubles, our lack of silverware. These are the things the media don't stop pointing out. Whereas there's other clubs, like your Aston Villas, Evertons, who have gone even longer than we have without winning anything. It's not spoken about, you know. And if you look at the table or look at like the trophies through history, we are about a top 6 club. So, but obviously an underachieving one. That's the issue. So,
yeah,
you know, it's
I want to ask this question, guys. Yeah, is there a culture now that, you know, losing as long as we do well in Europe sort of somehow balances the books? Because some people say Ange allowed that to happen this time last year, and now that disease, that cancer, has become the norm almost. In terms of as long as we do well in Europe, you know, we're doing all right overall, which is obviously not acceptable.
Yeah, I think he did more than just allow it to happen. It was actually he's almost like premeditated it. He actually basically came and basically binned the league. He basically said he's not even going to try. I don't know how much I believe him. He said that he did it from January. I don't know if I believe him that it was as early as that, or is it that, I don't know, he was trying to win games. But one thing that was clear is that I just think that the Premiership found out Ange's tactics. Nobody talks about that, but that's what I think's happened. I think that initially in our first 10 games, we took some teams by surprise. We weren't, even though some of the football wasn't particularly great, but we did well in the first 10 games of his career. But then after a while, they found out that we're going to put our wingers and they're all going to be inverted. There's going to be loads of space to the on the wing. There's going to be loads of space behind our defense. Obviously, when Mickey's not even there, then it's just like, do you know what I mean? It's a field day. So I think that the Premiership just found out Ange's tactics, and I think the reason why I've actually been proven right on that is after he left us, he joined another football club, and basically how many W's did he get? Probably less than 3. I don't even know if he did get any wins.
I don't think he won a game.
I don't think he got enough.
And basically, that's what would have happened with us. So all of these people, these Tottenham fans, almost with this fantasy, I don't know, illusion that, oh, if we had kept Ange, things would have been different. It was obvious that the league had found him out and that there was no way that was going to make any progress. But to answer your question, though, George, around the Europe covering things, it does cover things, but it only covers things if you win it, if you win something. Yeah. If we get
covered a crack, and that crack is now on show. Is that what we're seeing?
So for the short term and that euphoria, I got caught up in the euphoria as well, especially when, again, come back to the media, when you've had it shoved down your throat for the past 17 years, how you're Big Six team that haven't won anything. When you do finally win something, yeah, you do get you do lose yourself a bit. I'm not gonna lie about that, but then you actually think and you reflect in terms of where are we as a club, and you look at it, we lost 22 games last year. That is just unsustainable, and it kind of almost, it set in from Ange. He started that, and I think, to be fair to Pipes, this is where I have to big up Pipes. You was the first person to call it, Pipes, when you said it's very dangerous what Ange is doing, and it's going to cause a whatever it is, a dangerous precedent. And you said already, this thing is dangerous, losing at home and just throwing home games, and you've been proven right, unfortunately.
Saying it, but you know.
The thing is as well, this Champions League money, right? Like, we won the Europa League last year, yeah. We whatever money we got, compared that to this season in the Champions League, it's peanuts. The amount of money you get generated from Champions League is massive. And if they're thinking that the longer we're in this Champions League, the more money we're going to make, and if they're all thinking about just the money, and putting the Premier League on the back burner, again, it's a massive mistake, because look at it now. It's showing how bad it is. And if they're just going to put all their eggs in the Champions League again, listen, we're not going to win that, right? We're not going to win that. I don't think so. However,
careful, mate.
I know that's what I'm saying. Mate. No, but last year, like Pipes keeps saying, we won the Europa League because look at the teams that were in the Europa League. Look what's in the Champions League. It's a different kettle of fish, mate. You know what I mean? It's like paupers to princes or kings. That's the
Can I
level
just,
of difference.
Sid, can I just
Yeah, go
talk to you about the money point that you mentioned? You know, you said
Yeah.
around the Champions League money. So this year we're getting, I think it's £42 million because we qualified in the top 8. So
Yeah.
you get higher the more money you
Yeah.
get. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
40,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just 42 mil, yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know that we've still got 150 million pounds in our bank account that
Yeah, I
has
know.
been
I know.
unspent?
I know.
The
This is
war-
what I'm
the
saying.
Plus
I
the
don't know what they're
40
doing.
million, plus the Champions League
The
money.
fabled war
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah, and it's just there. But what they're going to keep saying every season, transfer window, we've got this much money, we've got this much money. So, like I was saying, you can have all that much money. What are they doing with it? In fact, they're looking after themselves or doing whatever. They're not investing it in the players. And like Anne said, I wanted this player, I wanted that player. In the end, he got Mr. Strepsil and youngsters, right? When he could have got that player, that player, that player. That's the level we're at. We don't want to pay the wages and we don't want to play.
Sid, is there a debate here that Ange wasn't backed this time last year in the summer window? He did get Solanke and a couple of youngsters. He did lose Harry Kane. He did lose Son. Just bear with me. So because he didn't get backed and because of the injuries that piled up around November, December, and Jan, that did it. And this is an argument that's out there, so don't shoot the messenger. Is there any meat on the bone that this time last year he made the right call to get this club in the Champions League so that we can get that money to then get it right again, or have another chance at trying to get it right? Or if this time last year, if you're Ange, are you thinking I could have won the Europa League and finished 12th, even though I had the injuries?
The rumors were he gave up in January. He knew he was getting sacked in January. Sorry, Pipes. He said he was getting sacked. He said he knew he was getting sacked in January. So he put all his eggs in the Europa League basket. Like Pipes has been going on about it last year, this year. The level of teams that we faced in the Europa League, he had to win that Europa League. And he probably looked at that and thought, do you know what? I can win this even with Man United in the final, because United was shocking. One of the worst United teams. He probably thought, if I put all my eggs in the basket in the Europa League, forget about the Prem, I'm getting sacked anyway. I win that trophy and I'm going to go down as one of the top managers in Tottenham's history to win a trophy. Bye-bye. See you later. I'm going to bin it all. That's what I think. If that's the rumors, then I think he actually planned it that way.
Yeah, you see, what we have to remember though with this character is that he's a snake oil salesman who will spin things to suit his own narrative. Now, he has said he knew in January he was getting sacked.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that's true, to be honest with you. But it suits his narrative for him to say that. You understand? So this is the character we're dealing with. So you can't really take everything he says on board. And I still revert back to my original thing where, as manager of Tottenham, you should be able to navigate a cup competition and still be competing fairly in the league. This notion you have to bin off the league in January is absolute madness and for the birds. Yeah. And as I said, it created a culture now that has seeped into the club that the players can't shake off. So if put this way, if I knew then what winning the Europa would cost us, I would say, you know what, I don't want it. Because
so you would have happily finished 7th to go back in the Europa League, or 6th, or whatever it would have been.
I don't believe winning any trophy is worth our Premiership place. Yeah?
Great.
Yeah. I mean, he pulled it off in the end. He pulled it off in the end.
He pulled it off in the end, Josh.
He did, but it's risk. It was risk. It was a big risk.
We could be crying tears in May.
Yeah. Domino effect. It started a domino effect.
So has that season, which was only literally last year, we're talking months, not even years, is that still in the blood of these players? What is the reason that these players can't beat Newcastle, can't beat West Ham, can't beat Burnley? Because at what point do we start pointing the finger at the players? How much blame do these players take? Because look at the comment from Ange there. He's saying I wasn't even backed.
Yeah. So can I just talk about the that comes back to my point, because we didn't answer your question around Ange being backed, yeah?
Oh, but
Can
I
you-
think he was backed. I think he was backed. I'm sure he had a start.
Pipes, reading that comment, is he not right there? Arsenal go and buy Declan Rice to go to the next level. Tottenham buy youngsters.
Josh,
Is there any truth in
it's
that?
all well and good him saying this now, but I remember
Exactly.
sitting in front of the press, waxing lyrical about Archie Gray, waxing lyrical about the youngsters. Yeah, he lied to us fans and
Yeah.
said, you know, he was very happy with the window.
Oh, Pipes.
We're stronger
Was,
than we were at the start of the window. He said all this to us.
and wasn't he the one that sanctioned Archie Gray's hijack from Brentford?
Right. So it's kind of disingenuous for him now. You know, apparently he chased Wilson Odobert for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
These are words coming from his own mouth. So it's kind of disingenuous.
I'll tell you what, guys.
And say he got saddled with youngsters. He co-signed it. He co-signed this. And the absolute cherry on top of the cake, he signed number 16, not once, but twice. I'll leave it there.
Oh, where's Sam? Where's Sam?
Sorry, Pipes, you were speaking.
Don's back.
Sorry, Don, you were speaking halfway and then you got cut off.
Back on defense.
Yeah. Apologies. Am I back now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So basically, just on the spending, yeah. So Nuno.
Oh, he's gone again, mate. Have we got 50p to give him?
You know what? On some Spursy network, man.
I'm telling you, man.
He should have height.
He's on Spurs Wi-Fi.
It's not defense. It's not defense.
Okay, look, listen, guys. I want to ask you a question, yeah, because we've got to keep the conversation moving. So, XG. I don't know if you guys are XG lovers. I like to look at it, yeah. At the moment, you can see Tottenham are third from bottom on XG going forward, yeah. So that's creating chances. Under Ange, he liked to have a go. Yes, he left the back door open, wide, but he liked to have a go. Is that something we're missing today? Is there anything you miss about Ange, apart from his who we are, mate?
You see, he liked to have a go, but
Do we need a bit of it's who we are, mate? A little bit of that.
see, Josh, this argument keeps going back and forth between the fan base. And again, it's very simple. Just give me a coach in the middle. Yeah? We go from one extreme to the other. You go from the madness of Ange to the absolute crazy dogmatic pragmatism of a Thomas Frank. Just give me a coach who's proficient with both sides of the game.
And for the first 10, 12, 14 games, Ange had all the players to pick from. Every single player. And this is what I said about Thomas Frank. Give him the fully fit squad, right? In the end, I did want him gone because of the results and whatever, but I wanted to see what he could have done if he had every single player available like Ange did at the beginning of last season. I think we would have had, it would have been interesting to see, because remember at Brentford, he had Mbumo, he had Wissa and whoever else was on the other side, and they were creating, scoring for fun. Yeah. Had he had all them players that were injured and when Ange had them fully fit, I would have loved it to see what he would have done.
I think, Sid, though, the suspicion with Frank is that he was just too pragmatic by nature.
Yes, 100%.
The size of the job inhibited him as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It made him ultra cautious. And I'm
100%.
suspicious that even with the full complement of the squad, he would have still had us playing fairly similar football. Yeah, his MO is to hold. He doesn't like risk.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
Dumpy's
back.
So, I mean, it's just opinion. I just think the job was too big.
Yeah, let's move it on from Ange. Let's move it on to the North London derby. So I've put the formation up there.
Josh,
Don, you had one more point on Ange.
No. Just the final thing on the money, isn't it? And I was just saying that Nuno didn't spend any money. Pochettino spent 400 million gross over 5 years. Yeah, 400 million over 5 years. Mourinho spent between 100 and 150 million. Yeah. Conte spent 155 million in 16 months. Yeah. So it was 150, 155. And then you got Ange.
400.
Ange has spent between 350 and 430 million pounds. So it's basically on average 400 million. So to say that he wasn't backed, I appreciate that he's saying that he got 40 million pound players and he might not have been the 40 million pound players that he wanted or whatever. But sometimes again, this is when his salesman comes in, because him saying that he wanted Semenyo when Semenyo had scored something like 5 goals that previous year where nobody was interested is, I could have, at best I could say, is dishonest. Yeah, it appears to be dishonest. Yeah, because if we wanted him at that time, we would have had an open door, because basically nobody wanted him at that time when Andrew was in charge. So he's just, anyway, I can't believe anything he says. Anyway, that was my last point about Andrew.
I think there's a question of, I suppose, even a club that the players like Semenyo even would want to join.
No, at that time, yes. At that time,
did Eze use us? Did Morgan Gibbs White use us to get that bigger move in the future? Would Semenyo have actually contemplate?
No, at that time, at that time, Josh. Yeah, at that time, Josh, I think he would have. But obviously, when he put in the performance that he put in over the last 12 months, then he could have more or less his pick. And Bournemouth made the transfer fee so low, he could have his pick of the top 4 teams. And obviously, then we were never in the mix. But if it was down to normal kind of conditions at that time, City went after him.
Yeah, and Arsenal spent the 100 million on Declan Rice, yeah, because they chose to and opted to spend 100 million. What did he do? He opted to go, and like what I do when I go shopping, if I see something that's 20 quid, I'll try and get same item but different branded for 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, that's what he did. He went out and got the big part players. He went and got number 16 3 times. He went and bought Odobert. He went and bought Archie
He
Gray.
went and got Johnson. He wanted Johnson. He wanted all those players.
Exactly. So don't come back saying Arsenal go and spend 100 million on a quality player because it improves them. You had the opportunity. You chose not to. You chose to bring in youngsters that are not tried and tested in the Prem, and it didn't pay off. And then you're crying like a.
And I still think, if he really wanted Raya, he was at a position of strength. He was in his first year. He could have got Raya. If he's dug in his thing and said, "No, what we have to spend? What was it, over the extra 5 million or whatever that
standard,
something like that? We could have got him."
Yeah,
but no.
But we went for Vicario, cheaper option, because Vicario is a cheaper option. Let's go and get that. Yes, he'll come good. He's young. Yeah, whatever. And now look. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have a fan base. Again, coping mechanisms. We blatantly get the inferior players, and they convince themselves these players are good. I remember the noise when we got Vicario. I'm telling people, this guy is not. He's the second choice to Raya. Raya was the keeper we should have bought, but you're all gassing yourselves up now about Vicario and blah blah. Some people even saying that he's better than Raya. And look at the state of Vicario. I mean, I was being nasty in the WhatsApp group earlier on, reeling off all these keepers who I said were better than Vicario. And
he's a worry now, though, isn't he? Because I think his confidence is completely shot. That he doesn't even take goal kicks anymore.
Well,
he gives them to Van der Ven and thinks it's a panic anytime he gets the ball.
You have Dumpy, you have a defense that are at best they're kind of jittery themselves, being compounded by a nervy keeper. So it's just a vicious cycle, really. You know what I mean? A defense need a keeper they can trust, and Vicario is just a bundle of nerves. Everything about him just screams nervousness.
And look at Josh's visual. Look at Josh's graphic. Which Tottenham player has got the lowest mark?
Vicario.
It's shocking. I've said it again. I've said it till I'm blue in the face. He is a number 2. That's all he is. He's a decent number 2, but he's never a number 1. And for the fans to get to kind of gas him up and he's this, he's that, he's well. I'm just like, But again, like I said, it's what our fan base does. They overrate, and I'm sure we're going to go into some of the other players in the squad. They overrate such bang average players. Yeah?
Can I just have a go on those couple of players? So Josh, if you just go back to that, if you go back to that first visual that you had. So I'll tell you who's a player that I used to like, really liked, but who's really pissing me off recently. No, Basuma actually had a good game. He's one of the few people that had a good game yesterday, actually, for a
He's
change.
playing for his next move.
He's
That's
got
why, yeah.
his thing, yeah. But the person
Papa
who's really
Sock.
pissing me off is bloody Spence. What
Yeah.
the bloody hell does he? It's like he's got this ego about him. Whereas rather than just play the ball simply to another Tottenham player, he wants to show that he's stronger and blah blah than everybody else. And he just causes so much. He's pissing me off. Yeah. That is just piss, and that is just down to mentality. It's not down to do with ability.
A couple of months back.
But seriously, the way he's playing, the way he's playing. As I said before, it's just ego and selfish. That's what he's playing like. Yeah. He's playing like a selfish way. He just wants to do his individual thing and show that I'm stronger. And it's really pissing me off because at least with Jaggerson, yeah, Jaggerson I can accept. He's not a very good player. He's shit. Yeah, he's crap. He should never have been bought. No, but he should never have been bought.
I know.
We can.
Yeah,
he should never have been bought. He should never have been bought because even when Ange's got a system where he plays ball, where he wants ball playing defenders, or he wants defenders with pace. Jaggerson does neither.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He should never ever have been bought. So I can allow him for that. But Spence has got ability. Spence, if he applied himself, could be a decent player. But he's choosing not to.
Is Spence getting a bit of Dele Alli syndrome where he thinks he's made it when he made it?
Do you know what?
I think he hasn't been the same since he got his little England call up. Yeah. The player's gone. We've lost. You know, he thinks he's made it, and you know, it's Dele Alli syndrome all over again.
That's what I'm about to say. He's Dele Alli. It's Dele Alli. It's Dele Alli all over.
He never hit them levels, though, did he? He's never hit that Dele Alli levels. But did you guys watch this morning on Sky Sports with Tim Sherwood was on there?
No.
Oh, no.
And they was talking about No. They was talking about this, right? And he come up with some really good points. I know you lot are proper dissing Spence, yeah, and he's not been playing well. But for me,
he's a good player. I said that he's a good player, but he's not playing well.
Yeah, he's not playing well. But the thing is, what he said was correct. He said Tottenham, right? They were talking about Saka and how good Saka was and this, that, the other. And they said, you know, how much space he was having with Spence and they had to double up on him, this, that, the other. And then he said something along the lines of, they were talking about Polina. And Sherwood turned around and said, he's not a fucking defender. No, why are you playing him as a defender when his role is a ball destroyer and he's very good at his job? Yeah. He says, why do Tottenham consistently play players at a position, right, and expect them to do a job?
To be fair, sorry to cut you, Sid, but to be fair, I heard some people was already going at Igor tactically. And I think, to be fair, that was the one faux pas he made yesterday, was playing Polina as a defender when he's not a defender. Because basically what it did, Arsenal, their midfield had free reign, basically. And that's why the player that we almost love to hate now, Eze, can just run through the centre of the team and basically score at will.
But guys, who was he going to play instead, though? Who was he going to play instead?
What he said was he's heard that Tudor's method is always three at the back, right? Yeah, always three at the back. So Tim Sherwood said, we don't have three centre-backs fit to play that system. So why are you playing a number 6 or whatever he is as a centre-back? And then they were like arguing with him and he said, he didn't have to play the 3. He could have played 4 at the back. He could have played 4 at the back.
His system is 3 at the back, Sid. It's like Pep.
It would have been great. Gray's the only guy who could have played.
No. I don't have the arguments. These English, it's such a simple thing where you say the manager, we've bought him. He plays 3 at the back. That's what he does. Yeah. It's like with me. If I ever done play 3 at the back, why are you bringing me in and telling me that I need to change my system like that? It's different if you're. I mean, you don't sign me then. Don't make me manager. I play 3 at the back.
It's true.
What do you think should have done? What Igor should have done?
Manage accordingly. You've got to manage according to the cloth.
Okay. What he could have done. So Sherwood. No. Listen. What I'm saying is, I agree in terms of Paulinho, but then Frank played Paulinho at the back, and he was
wrong as well.
arguably he was arguably out of the 3 centre backs that we ever played, he was one of our best playing centre backs. So I think we should have them short revisionist time memories. Yeah, he had an outstanding performance in Europe, and another good game, and another good game, and another good game. I think it was against
Don. The issue is Paulinho was brought to the club.
Listen, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. So when you get people like Sherwood, yeah, saying that there's a manager that plays 3 at the back, and why is he playing 3 at the back or whatever, blah blah blah. I accept that point. Okay, I'm telling you the reason why I think he played Paulinho, yeah, because he had 2 or 3 good games, last few games playing at 3 at the back. But my point is, what he should have had, and I would have done if I was a manager, is have another centre back from the youth team in terms of Byfield. Yeah. Yes, you've already played him, so you've already, and he's already played for the first team, albeit it's in Europe, yeah. But he's done it twice, so play him in his proper position. But don't tell him that he shouldn't play his formation. If he plays 3 at the back, that's what he does. That's what he believes in.
But then you just said it. You just said it, P.
Yeah.
You just said it. Play
a centre back
positions.
Yes. That's what I'm agreeing. That's what I was going to come back to you. That I'm agreeing with you. That's necessary. If Paulinho isn't the person, then if he's decided he's not, I'm telling you why I think he played him. But if he wasn't that thing, he should have had somebody on the bench like a Byfield, who is a natural central defender, to play in that position that he could bring on. Likewise with Sosa. To me, playing Spence on the back, and I've said this to you before, Pipes, about Spence on the left back. I'm saying to you, he's not a left back, and it doesn't work, and he doesn't think our narrative. I would prefer to play the Brazilian player there.
Yeah,
that's my point.
And I think the other thing he was trying to say as well is, I think what he was trying to say as well is, against Arsenal, you needed Paulinho in the middle of the park, not as a centre back. He said it was too easy for them to go around it.
We played into their hands yesterday.
Exactly. And he was saying, like you said, Pipes, if you're bringing him...
Would a young Byfield survived in the North London derby? Come on.
I think so.
Everyone keeps saying that. Other teams play their players. Every team play their young players. Everybody else plays their thingies. And no matter who they're playing for, they play their young players. Why is Tottenham the only team that can't play young players?
And do you know the other thing? They were talking again. I'm going to go back to Sherwood again.
Sorry, guys. Instead of Paulinho, yeah? All 3 of you.
No. I'm just saying. Another thing, they were talking about... somebody said about youngsters. I think Jay Bothroyd mentioned about the youngsters. You know what Sherwood turned around and said? It was Chris Cowlin. He said it to Cowlin. He went, what are you talking about, the youngsters? When have Tottenham ever played their youngsters? It's a myth. He said, have we even got an academy? Because Cowlin turned around and said, we've got a couple of youngsters and our academy team has won a trophy. He turned around and said, what is a trophy got to do with anything in the academy? It's about developing players. When was the last time Tottenham developed any youngsters to bring them into this first team?
There's no route of progression. There's no route to the first team.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at the players that they've signed. They're literally within 12 months they've loaned them out or sold them.
Yeah.
Do you know the issue is? Do you know what it is? Do you know why it is? You know what that is? Because the recruitment, this is where it comes back down to Lange or the sporting director or whatever, is that most teams, what they'll do is they'll buy some ready-made players and a couple of youngsters. Yeah, they'll buy a mix. So then what happens is that the players from their youth academy, because there's only a few young players stopping them, they'll get the odd games. But what Tottenham do is we hoard young players from other academies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We'll spend the money on a Gray. Do you know what I mean? We'll spend all the money on all those young thingies, and it stops the players coming through. The William Barlett's or whatever his name is, from coming through. And that's what we should do. Like, I think,
but they're not even hoarding the best players from each academy. You know what I'm saying? We're hoarding with shit. So
but that's what stops our academy from going. That's why Michael Moore has to go to Scotland or whatever.
It's a complete mess.
That's what
guys, looking at this injury list, right? Is this job impossible? Because people keep telling me we have the worst injury list in the Premier League. I believe we do at the moment.
Yeah, we do.
We have the worst injury list, yeah. And not only do we have the worst injury list, we have major players out. So it's not like youngsters are out or potentials are out. We've got, as you can see from the screen in front of me, we've got a 75% starting team there, bar Lucas Bergvall, probably bar Kevin Danso. So really, looking at this list, we are probably the most likely to go down because Forest don't have these issues. West Ham don't have these
but then
issues.
it goes back
Leeds
down
don't
to
have
your.
these.
Then it goes back down to your schedule.
So what do
though.
we have to pick from, Don P? Because we could say Tottenham are too big and Tottenham's squad and Sherwood
Yeah.
could say Tottenham's squad's too good to go down. But looking at the current squad,
Yeah. But
we don't
it
have
comes
all
back down
those
to
players.
it comes down to my original point. It's not that we've got a wonderful city or we've got a good team that this thing. It's because there's two teams that I'm just looking at it. Yeah, just looking at it, that I feel will still get fewer points than what we've got. And that's the only way that we stay up.
Yeah, we've got to rely on other teams.
We got to
Unfortunately,
rely on other teams.
But,
You're
all right,
hoping.
but don't you think that's an almost dangerous?
It is a
Very
dangerous
dangerous.
team.
Because
It's very
all-
dangerous.
really and truthfully, is for one of said teams to string a run of probably 2 wins.
And they're doing it, Pipes. Look at their recent form.
Yeah.
Look at
Right.
Burnley.
We're in the
Look
soup.
at Burnley, for
Because
God's sake.
Tottenham, I repeat, are not winning football matches.
Lost
But
3-0.
as I said before, I looked
For
at
a
their
long
fixtures.
time.
As I said before, when you look at their fixtures and you look at everything in the round and you look at our fixtures, you look at their fixtures, I think that we'll get enough points, not necessarily the wins that not as many as that, yeah. But I think that between, even if you turn the Forest game rather than a win into a draw, and the Brighton into a draw, so then that,
you're correct. But we're getting to that sticky point.
yes, I understand. I agree.
can I ask you a question,
really-
Tom P?
It's about character now. It's about character.
Can I ask you a question? Did
Yeah.
any one of you lot think Burnley were going to get a point against Chelsea at the weekend?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those games you never know. I would never ever swear blind and say that that Chelsea are going to get a victory, because Burnley have drawn against teams. It's not just
Yeah,
Chelsea
but
that they've drawn
if
against.
that would have been us going to Chelsea, would you have given us?
No. We never
anything?
get anything from Chelsea.
That's what
We're
I'm saying.
different.
You know,
No,
it's
we're
these
different. We're
teams-
different.
Why do we lack that character that Burnley still have, and they're pretty much down? Why do we lack that? Is it
Yeah.
players?
What I'm trying to say is, but you know that we, you know that we did, you know this fallacy that we never ever get points against the bottom team is crap as well, though, isn't it? Because you know that we did beat Burnley 3-0. But people
did.
just
I think
forget
that's the first game of
people
the
seem to.
season.
But it still happened though. It still happened. It still happened, and
Yeah,
it happened in this season. I know that people
first game.
almost kind of things like they just have this blanket thing where
now, bruv. That was the other seasons of summer in August.
and we beat Leeds as well at their place. Remember?
No, seriously.
yeah, exactly.
Fine. We are not beating the teams around us. Please, let's wake up and
You know
have
what?
a conversation.
Pipes.
We're not
Pipes,
beating the teams around us.
In all fairness, we beat Burnley, we beat Leeds, and we beat West Ham.
Thank you.
In August. When do we beat West Ham and Leeds?
Yeah. 1924.
West Ham was probably September, October. It's October.
Yeah, it was
What happened last time
September.
we played West Ham?
They beat us. Yeah,
Right. You had Forest at their ground, 3-0.
they battered us. They battered us.
Struggled to
Yeah.
beat Wolves. In fact, we did. Have we beat Wolves this season? No, we
No,
didn't.
we didn't.
We've not beaten them for about 2 seasons or 3
Right.
seasons.
So, you know what I mean? This, like I said, this optimism about us
Where's
getting
this hope
something.
come from, Pipes? Where's this
But-
hope
But
come
we've
from?
still beaten.
And mix that hope, and mix that
The fact
hope
is, we've
with
still
what you're-
beaten 3 of the teams around us. Yeah, as much as you said all those things, all that talk, we still beaten 3. We still got more than 9 points.
We've still got to play. We've still got to play Forest.
Yep.
And we've still got to play Leeds. No.
Yep.
Leeds
No.
at home because
Yeah.
we played them at
Leeds
Ellen
at home.
Road.
Yeah, Leeds
Yeah,
at home.
yeah, we
So,
Leeds at home.
right now on
Saying
form,
we're gonna
right
get
now on
the
form, you trust Tottenham with that lineup to go and beat Leeds and Forest right now with that
Right.
lineup.
As I
That's what
said,
we're
the
gonna see.
Forest one, I called you. Forest, I say is going to be a draw, but with Leeds, I could see us beating Leeds. Yes,
I
but
can't.
the Forest one, I don't know if we could beat Forest. I think it's going to be a draw.
They could send
I
us
can't.
down, chaps. Those 2 fixtures could send us down.
But what
Potentially.
will happen is we need basically 10 points will be enough. 10 points we need.
Don P, where do you see it's all right saying it.
No, but go back to the
very
schedule.
scary.
I tell you, we'll go for a game. We'll go for a game. Josh, please, because I need to show Pipes where we're getting these points from.
Forget about showing me anything.
No, you asked me where we're getting them from.
No,
I'm
but
telling you where we're
I'm
going to get them
saying
from. I'm telling you, this is where we're getting the points
Focus on
from.
this,
But
chaps,
I'm
'cause
saying to you,
Shall I
Don P,
pull up all the fixtures? Do you want to go that far ahead?
Yeah.
we people, I'll say this again slowly.
Yes.
We've won 5 matches, all told, since November 2024. We've
Yeah.
yet to win a game
in
in
2026.
Yes.
We've won
We're in
4
February.
matches at our own ground again since the start of the season. Yeah.
Yes.
So please, where is this chest coming from?
I'm telling you, because of the fixture list. Yeah.
What does that mean?
He's gonna tell us, Pipes. He's gonna tell us. And then what we do,
Josh is getting
and then
He's
and then-
worked it all out. He's worked it all out. Yeah,
Josh is
we'll
gonna
pull up
clip
the
it. Josh is gonna clip it for you, Pipes, as well. Yeah.
The floor's yours.
Right, here we
Yeah.
go. Right, you tell us.
Well,
There
we've
we
got
go.
these
So,
6
can you
first.
tell us where we're getting these results? So tell us one by one. So look, what are you saying? Tell us what we saying? Loss,
Yeah,
Nah, I
from
think
Fulham.
draw. I think a draw. I think a draw.
That's 1 point.
draw, Palace, what are you saying?
We need that win.
Yeah,
we
Sid,
need
you
that
tell
win.
it, please.
I think the Palace one's going to be a win.
That's 4
Right,
points.
that's 4.
That's
yeah?
one. That's one of the wins there. Pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost.
Liverpool
Lost
away.
Liverpool.
Okay.
Tottenham,
Lost.
Forest,
A point. So that's 5 points.
5. That's 5
Five.
points.
Sunderland away.
We don't beat Sunderland away.
Point.
Hold on, Pipes. We're gonna win at Sunderland away, yeah.
No, a point. 6.
Oh, point. That's 6 points. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying that we need 10.
Yeah. Go on.
Brighton. A point.
You said it
7.
yourself. You
7.
said it yourself. Your own words.
Yes, I said a point. We're not going to win. I said we haven't beat Brighton, so it's a
That's
point.
7.
That's
That's
7 points. Wolves, 3 points. That's the game.
That's the 10
That's the last
points.
game
So
of the
you-
season.
No,
It's not the last game. It's 18th of April.
No, Wolves is 25th of April.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going. I'm
Wolves.
looking wrong. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
thingy. So,
So
is it
we've got the
Villa
10
next?
points. So we've got
Oh,
the 10
so-
points
so-
with
so-
4 games to spare.
So we're
That's
going to
what
be
you're
No,
saying,
does it say
by-
Wolves v
by
Tottenham at 25th of April? Okay.
Yeah, 25th.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you're
Yeah.
saying, so
Yeah.
you're saying the 10 points
Yes.
with 4 games to go, yeah?
Ooh, it might even be tighter than that. We might even get less. So one of
Okay.
the
So
teams,
carry
one
on.
of the games where I've said about the points. One
Yeah.
of the games where I said that we'll get a draw. We might
We might get a win.
lose.
10.
We might
And
lose.
what about the
We might
last 4?
lose.
What about the last 4?
I think that we'll either draw or beat Everton. We've got a good record against Everton, especially at home.
Villa. Go with Villa
got
first.
Villa, and
Oh,
then
Villa. Villa. I don't know.
losing that.
Probably we lose. We lose Villa.
Okay.
We're not beating
Leeds.
Villa.
Lose Villa. We lose Villa.
Yeah, Leeds.
Leeds we'll get the 3 points.
That's 13. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know, honestly, guys, did you hear somebody yesterday? I
Hmm.
think it was Rory idiot on TalkSport.
Rory
He
Denny.
reckons that second to last game, Chelsea,
Hmm.
he would take relegating Tottenham
Oh,
over
yes,
winning
I
the
heard.
league,
I
the
saw
Champions
that.
League.
No, but can I just say something
Yeah.
to you? Can I just
Go
say
on.
something? Both
Yeah.
both Sid and Josh, what I said in terms of those results,
Yeah.
do they seem realistic?
I don't think so with the injuries we got.
I don't think so.
I'll say it
With-
straight.
with-
But you,
with-
Josh, you've given us, you got us
Only
winning
because
more
of the
points.
injuries. Nah,
Josh,
you know
Josh, you've
what?
got us winning more points.
Josh is, yeah.
I did.
All right, all
Josh,
right,
you got
all right.
that's what you said, Josh.
You know what, man? These are brought me back down to earth, man.
Josh, you got
3, 6, 9, 11
It's
points.
there,
You
bro.
got us 11
I
points in
wanna
6
see-
games.
All right, fellas, Josh, indulge me.
Let me
Do it
start
again.
now,
Do it for
man.
Pipes. Do it for Pipes. Do it for Pipes.
Wait.
Pipes, give us the next 6.
No,
No,
you do yours,
I
Pipes.
don't look into the future. Reverse the last 7 or 8 fixtures or so, if you can,
Right, we're going.
But the
and
thing
show
is-
us the games that we thought we should have won that we didn't.
Pipes, this Josh guy, he's having us losing 1 game in 6 when we can't even buy a game in 20.
I know.
I know it's-
Guys, you know what? I came on positive, man. Look what you've done to me, man. You flipped ruined my day, man.
we can only deal with you see, we had this debate last year regarding Ange. We can only
Yeah.
deal with evidence,
All
not
right,
hope.
so forget my crayon.
the hope
forget
that
this
kills
crayon
you, man.
stuff, yeah?
Right,
Forget
hope
all these
never
dub-
wins
forget-
against
forget the
evidence.
3 W's on the right, but they're all D's and L's, yeah? So cool. It's like
Do you know what? I must
Some
admit,
of the GCSE results, I ain't gonna lie, man.
the
It's like
West
my
Ham lost.
GCSE.
Everybody say that the West Ham lost. I know they played well in the first half, yeah, but it was a freak result. I mean,
But we still
even
lost.
I don't
bloody
think it was.
Callum,
Nah.
Callum's
Bro,
scoring in the last minute.
I was there.
Callum's
I was
scoring in that
there.
last minute.
Do you know what? I was there. And
But
how
But in
did
the
they
second
put
half,
game to
Sid,
bed?
in the second half, Sid.
No, what I'm saying, that first half, they should have put us to bed. West Ham should have
Yes,
put
in the
us to
first
bed.
half, yeah. But then I'm talking about watching the game in terms of
Yeah.
that second half. There was only one team in the second half, and then
Yeah,
that
but we-
freak goal in the last minute.
But there was only
Yeah,
one
but
team in the
it
first
never
half.
looked like
That's
we
it,
was gonna
Ben.
score.
They should have put us to bed in the first half.
That's why I think
Yeah,
it should have been a draw. It should have been carried them out. That's what I'm saying. It was easy.
And again, that's another problem with this team. They
Yeah.
need to go behind before they decide they want to wake up and play.
Exactly.
You can't
Week in,
keep
week
doing
out. You
it.
can't do that. You can't keep doing that. Yeah.
You can't keep doing this.
Anyway, wait. My last point, because I'm going to make a move. My last question.
You're saying that probably going to stay up, but not as optimistic as Don P. You're taking it to Chelsea or the last of the season. Is that what you're
You're
saying?
asking me for a definitive answer?
No, he thinks that
I'm
we're going
asking you.
down. I think
what-
Pikes thinks that we're going down.
Definitely
Right,
going
you think
down.
we're going
Right
down?
now,
No.
right now, I am very much 50-50. And we need to start winning football matches very, very soon.
Yes, we
But
do.
I cannot sit here and lie to YouTube land and say with chess, we're definitely staying up. I can't do that.
No. This is what I think's going to happen, yeah? I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen because it can't happen. And I support Tottenham, so I know I'm not stupid
Pipes, what do
enough
you
to
think's
believe
going to happen?
everything in
What do you
the
think's going to
team.
happen?
You took it
Who
to
you
Pipe.
asking? Pipes.
Okay?
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen, Pipes?
What do I think's going to happen?
Surely we're staying up. Surely we're staying up, man. Even you have to admit that
If
we
we
ain't
stay
going
up,
down, mate.
If we stay up, it's going to be probably a repeat of probably 93, 94, where we stay up by the skin of our teeth by about 3 points. And that's me being totally honest.
Could be. And don't forget, as I said before, don't forget the goal difference. 13 goals.
That can come into the play. But
30, no, it will. It will. That's a big point. It's a big
of course
30.
it will. Of course
That'll
it
get
will.
cancelled out slowly but surely, obviously, because like Pipe said, we're conceding at least averaging 2 per game. So
Don't forget the other teams are also losing and conceding.
What,
It's
17?
falling.
They last 7.
No, not necessarily that. But what I'm trying to say is they're not positive. They're not getting positive goal difference.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I can't wear rose tints at this stage of the season. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? I've seen too much fucking shit for the last year and a half to 2 years.
He's having nightmares about this slide, you know.
Right. I can't have to rose tints on about this team.
Do you know what? Let me take a picture of this slide before I go, John. John, this is the first famous.
Listen,
this is your thing. This visual here.
I've got a few questions that I want to ask you boys as well. You know,
I need to ask me quick then because I need to make a move now.
So quickly, right? There's 2 questions I want to ask about the Van der Ven thing, right?
Yes.
There's 2 questions. The first one, we all saw it on Sunday.
Yep.
That video that's going around about Tudor doing the
telling them to push up.
Yes.
Because how can you press if your defense is back? It's so far back.
I watched it closely today again, and he's not telling Van der Ven. He's telling Dragusin. If you look at the video properly, he's not looking at Van der Ven.
You know what, Sid? It's interesting you say that. Do you know why you say it's interesting you say that? Because I was watching Last Word on Spurs today, and they were saying that Van der Ven and Dragusin, Van der Ven was arguing with Dragusin, all like throughout the match.
Yeah, and you look at that. If you study it properly and look at Tudor's reaction and his way he's pointing, you look carefully. Van der Ven is stepping backwards, and you can tell that he's pointing past. Look, there you go.
Interesting you say that. Yeah, and interesting because you know why as well? Because after Van der Ven looked at him, he went like this as well, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He went like that, didn't he? He went like that.
And people have took it out of context and saying that it's Van der Ven causing trouble, blah, blah, blah. That's my first point.
Yeah, you should be on side, Sid.
My second point, have you seen the statement that he's put out allegedly about leadership and leaders in the team?
Who's he?
Van der Ven. In his interview, he said there's 4 leaders in this team. He said put up in brackets.
So he's talking about himself then?
Right? No. So basically he said, you've got Romero. Unfortunately, he's suspended. He said we've got a lot. Yeah. He said we've got a lot of youngsters. You cannot have the youngsters to step up because they haven't got experience. The players that need to step up, in his words, Romero, but he's suspended. He said we've got somebody behind me, Vicario, which I was laughing when he said that because he can't even step down. Polinia is another one, and Solanke. So basically, what he said in no uncertain words is Vicario, Solanke, and Polinia need to step up because they have experience.
You've got Iron, who, as we said at the start of the show, cries off with a sore throat.
Yep.
You've got Polinia, who, let's have it right, he's technically not even a Tottenham player.
Yep.
So how can he be a leader?
And I've also heard
transpires to get himself sent off and banned for 4 matches.
Exactly.
So again, what kind of leadership is that?
Yeah, and before we came on air as well, a couple of hours before on air, I read and he's now pushing for a move from Spurs. He's had enough Van der Ven. He wants to leave
This
Spurs.
story's about him every
Yeah,
day.
yeah, that's been going on for
This
ages. Yeah, that's been
every
going
day.
Yeah.
And to those of you, all right,
You blame him,
Previous-
Sid. You blame him.
maybe
No.
the ego incident was probably aimed at Jagerson. But
Yeah.
I don't know about you fellas. I'm not liking VDV's body language.
No, it's not. It's not.
Guys,
It's not.
What-
were there
what-
any leaders of that team on Sunday? Was there any leaders you saw?
No.
Whilst we're talking about
Exactly.
leaders?
Josh, that's what I was going to say. Pipes, remember a couple of days ago, what did I say to you on that group? We haven't got anybody in this team that
Exactly.
can go to that pitch and take the game by the scruff of the neck and
Not
say,
one,
guys,
not one.
one.
And the thing about it, we've all played football. It only needs one, you know. It only needs
I know.
one to be the catalyst. But Sid, as we've said, this team, they get the ball, they play side. I mean, all right.
You know, you lot cuss him all the time. You lot cuss him all the time, yeah. Especially you, Pipes, yeah. But the only leader that we do have, though, yeah, he's fucked up loads of times, but he is the leader. Is Romero. See that against the Newcastle game? You see the Newcastle game? He's the
Right.
only player that I've ever seen. Yeah, he's the only player that I've ever seen that looks like he will take the game. That Tottenham Newcastle game. If it wasn't for Romero, and he said, you could see that he said, "Fuck all you lot." Yeah, I'm taking the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah, and he's done that. And he's done that. He's done that in a couple of games. But he's also, because he's a bozo. I don't know if he's because of his board or whatever. It goes in his head. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's not dependable. But he's the only player that I've seen that's done that.
What did Ange say? What did Ange say? Did you read that interview? What did Ange say?
Yeah.
He said, Ange said, everybody, including himself and the players, are scared of Romero. He said,
He looks like the only leader that we've got.
Yeah. He
But
said,
he's maybe a bad leader. He may be a leader, but he may be a bad leader.
Bad leader,
He's
yeah.
still a leader.
I was in training.
Yes, you're right. He's a Sonny. He's a Sonny. That's what you should start calling him, Sonny.
He goes, I was in training. I'm taking training, and Romero's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, or whatever. Coaches look at me and say to me, "Go and have a word with him." And go.
I mean, you know what it is? You know what? Can I just say? And it's what our manager said. Ego rings so true with our club. We're good players, but they've got bad habits.
Yes.
That to me.
He also, Dumpy, he also went low key Conte.
Yeah.
The workout, what they want.
Yeah. No, but that was very observant. It was 5 minutes. Yeah. They got bad habits. Because he's a centre back as well. He was a centre back. So he knows how they should be playing at centre back.
But then again,
This guy says you're on Twitter. He's got a bad attitude. Does Van der Ven got a bad attitude?
It goes to the players, as we said. They get the ball, they play it backwards, sideways. As I was trying to point earlier on, we get Xavi Simons, who, yes, he gets a lot of arrows, and sometimes deservedly so. But when that kid is on the ball,
there's no runners.
No runners. No one to pass to.
Do you know what I mean? He's got one player up front. He's got one forward up front to look for. That's it.
Right.
Defenders.
Josh, in answer to your question about Romero, I just want to put this out. If Romero was at Arsenal, Manchester United, or Manchester City, would they be saying the things that they're saying now?
No, he'd be like Argentina. It'd be the same thing. He'd be when he's with Conte.
Martinez is the same. Martinez is the same, and he's like
exactly. Exactly. It's
guys, looking at these stats, did anyone expect us to be Arsenal?
No.
No. The most I hoped for was a draw, which I said on another.
I didn't even know.
Do you know what, guys? Anyway, thank you so much. It's been a wicked show. But I'm gonna on that note. But we'll come again. What, next week?
Yeah, next Monday again.
Next Monday. Cool.
Do you mean we'll come again, or Tottenham will come again?
See you later.
See you later.
See you later. Nice one.
Yeah, Josh. Even without the stats,
I
wasn't expecting us to win because you know this is Tottenham when we was just going to roll over for Arsenal. I mean, there's a lot of things I can say. How can Eze have two games?
Get too emotional? Should we just look at this game and say, look, I'm just happy it's out the way, and now Igor knows the real state of the situation. Is there a blessing in this result that Igor? Imagine we did nick that 2-2, and then we went, and then we did what we did against Newcastle to Fulham. Is this a good thing that Igor knows this is crap? Like,
I think, Josh, the problem though with that is that it's the enemy, and to be honest with you, I don't know how you guys saw it. To me, yesterday was just another surrender to the enemy. Listen, we can lose football matches, but there's ways to lose football matches, and we were pretty pathetic again. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the first half we scored with literally our only shot in their area. Yeah,
This is the first goal, guys. So this is Saka on Sarr. He
It
gets
was a-
pretty much
was shocking
twisted up,
again.
nutmeg.
Do you know what? It
And I
was.
wanted
I
to
don't
show
think
you
it's twisted up. I don't
I
think
wanted
it's
to show you
twisted up,
this. Yeah,
Josh.
he beats Saka. He beats Saka. I don't know where Spence is. He beats Saka. Spencer's over there looking. He beats
Spence is there.
Saka, and then I've put 3 arrows of 3 Arsenal players attacking the goal,
Mm.
and there's no one marking them.
Yep.
Josh, can I just say something?
So that in itself is just poor. That's nothing to do with, injuries or
We
whatever.
don't
That is
engage,
just
Josh. We
poor.
don't
That-
engage. We don't
that's-
engage. We
That's
don't engage.
Arsenal. You go back to every single game previously, going backwards, and you'll get the same scenario in every single game. This is what we
But
do.
that is
Like you said.
basic coaching. Even Thomas Frank will know this. So
No, but
why
Thomas
are the
Frank, it's happening
players?
under Thomas Frank.
It's like we're headless chickens, Sid, on the day.
Yes.
It's like we got
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
heads.
Yeah.
And that's what he said in his interview, Tudor, afterwards. He said, I can't remember how he said it, but he basically said, we're a mess. We're a mess. And this is in the first, 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So, Saka does his man, and we know Saka's going to be a threat on the day. He's probably their best attacking player. He then squares it to Eze out of all people. Eze then scores. But my thing is not the goal itself. It's this before the goal. Why are there 3 Arsenal players and we're watching? We're watching.
Forget
them.
that, Gary. Gary, listen, Gary Neville. Can you reel it backwards? Because if you reel it backwards, even before this, you reel it backwards. I mean, that play, not the slides. I meant the play, right?
Saka.
Saw,
Yeah.
Spence is ahead of Saw. Saw is behind Spence, marking Saka, right? You reverse them roles, that goal doesn't happen because you've got a natural defender then doing what he's supposed to be doing, and Saw being the midfielder.
But Sid,
Spence is ahead of Spot.
They were rotating us to do that to us, to take Spence
because they sussed it out.
Because Arteta's done his homework. And that's what Arsenal do. I hate them, but they rotate wing backs and fullbacks. And that's how they get people like Saka in. They're not amazing, but
they're not amazing.
Against a crap Tottenham, they look better than what they are.
Yeah, and we make our own mistakes.
But this hurts me, mate. This flipping hurts.
Well, I
because
think what you got there, Josh, is
the
players are probably zonal marking and they don't know how to bloody zonal mark.
I don't understand this zonal marking, man.
I've never been a fan of zonal marking either myself, though, to be fair.
Who wants this more? Looking at that slide, the red team wants it more.
Of course.
Yeah? I'm going to forward it. The one time we pressed them, we scored. We created an error and we scored a goal. Yeah. Big up Muani and big up Javi. I'm not going to big them up too much because it's their job to press. But the one time we did it, we created an error. Muani came in. He could have squared it, but he believed in himself. Obviously, playing for his old boss.
Even that, Josh, is an issue. The players, some of them press, some of them don't. They don't press as a unit. Right. This is basic stuff, you know. This is not rocket science.
But is that because Frank never had them properly pressing in the first place? Is that even Tudor's fault?
I think there was one instance, I don't know if you saw it or not, where, who was it? Somebody pressed and then nobody else was pressing and he went mental.
It was Polina, isn't it?
Yeah, he went mental.
Guys, when we actually pressed,
they don't defend as a unit.
But look what happened when we pressed. Look, we did it against Man City. We did it for a little bit here. And all I would say is have that risk. And I don't want to hear this Thomas Frank, there is no risk and take risk and BS. Basic football, press the ball as a team. Like we've just said now, we're not coaches here, but press the ball in 3s and 4s. And you, 5 times out of 10, you'll create an error. And that's what happened to Declan Rice, who's supposed to be the best midfielder in the world. They keep telling me.
Agreed. But the players, they don't seem to have that like little 12-year-olds watching. They just follow the ball like sheep.
But nobody's pressing him. I've put an arrow on this player. I think this is...
That's Simmons.
He's not tight. That guy's they're holding hands, waiting for that ball to come in. And when it comes in, as they spins him, Jokeris takes in. Right? Okay, let's rewind it. Let's slow it down then. So, first of all, Sid, look at that line, right? You've got 2 Arsenal players, right? You've got Van der Ven. So you've got 2 Arsenal players waiting for a through ball, and we've just let them go ahead and do that. We've just said, go on then, go ahead, put the ball in. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Right? And we ask why we get beat. That's
not the first time because he goes like that outside the area. The players don't close down their man. This again, it's basic stuff we're talking about here. Basic stuff.
Why has he got the freedom of North London to do that? When he does get his ball in, he's split about 4 players, and now it's a 2-on-1 job. Now it's a 2-on-1 job.
And then also, Josh, Vicario should have done better with the shot as well. It's not right. It's not right in the corner.
And you count the 2 Arsenal players on the wing. How many Tottenham players are in front of him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Tottenham players doing absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And 3 and 3 at the back.
So when we talk about tactics and formation and player effort, then I'm sorry, but I don't know whose fault this is, but I'm going to blame the manager, but he's only been here 5 minutes. The players don't seem to be communicating or knowing what they're doing. So now we get situations like this where we're easy to play against, just easy to play against. He gets the ball, takes one touch, and it's in the back of the net. And you're right, Pipes. Should Vicario, from where he stood,
he's got to save that. It's not in the corner. He's got to save that.
He got a hand to it, didn't he?
There's Alisson.
He did get a hand to it.
There's Raya saved that. Did they anticipate off his body language that he's taking
His
a touch? He's about
shocking. His positioning has always been shocking, and that's why he does get beaten very regularly outside his area.
And look at Polina. What's Polina doing there?
Mate, it's just a mess. It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. Right. Was this a push? I think it was.
And everyone talks about this incident. And yes, we know Bugs Bunny, as I call him. He's done a Swan Lake dive, Oscar nomination, and he's got the result. The referee's bought it. But you know what? I'm not going to hang my hat on that. I think, okay, the goal stands. We still lose the game 4 or 5-2. I don't think it changes the progression of the match personally. But yeah, I mean, the referee, he was shocking all game. Let's have it right. He was as bent as a flipping. He was just a joke, the ref. But again, I'm not going to hang my hat on these things, because it excuses the shocking abomination of our performance again yesterday. So I can't.
That's 2-2. That's 2-2 if that goes in.
I know that.
2-2, but I think, and I said it to somebody before, for the next 5-10 minutes, we probably would have huffed and puffed, but I still think they would have come back and beaten us.
Well, Sid, look a couple of weeks ago, for example, against Man City. We come back to 2-2. What happens? The players retreat back into shape. City regained the initiative, and the momentum's lost.
This is what I'm saying.
Comment here talking about Levy, by the way. So yeah, big up the comments, guys. They're all coming in now, so I can see them. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't disagree with that. I'm sure you guys agree with that. We penny pinch, and Arsenal go and spend money, don't they? And they spend the wages. But yeah, so you're saying that, like, regardless of this going in, we would have lost it. But
yeah,
I do think that was a foul. That's all I'm going to say. It
is a foul, but
it was a foul. It was a foul.
The letter of the law is he's got 2 hands on him, and
it's a soft one. It's a soft one.
It's a very soft one, and I think.
Would you not say if that's our defender, that's smart defending because he's bought a foul?
Yes,
but he doesn't go down. If he doesn't do a world-class dive.
If the roles were reversed, though, Josh, I can tell you that goal would have stood. We know this.
Yeah, and
on top of that, Gary Neville with his little narrative, I mean, he said straight away foul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, if it was the other way around, he would have been like, "Ooh, I'm not so sure." You know what I mean? So,
and if you're bringing that one up,
it's against Spurs. But
if you're bringing that one up, are you going to bring up the Moani and Gabriel one later on, or are you bringing that up as well?
No, I haven't got that one at the moment.
So that one, when in the first half, when Gabriel took out Moani, I don't know do you guys remember it? And they were all saying he should have been sent off or whatever. In the first half. Yeah, was it first half, Rehan, weren't it? Yeah, it was in the first half.
Questionable decisions. I mean, basically everything Arsenal were getting. Everything.
So I looked. I didn't see that yesterday because I think I must have popped up for 5 minutes. When I watched it today, and I've tweeted about this. When the ball's played, Moani's obviously going on goal. Gabriel's took him out, right? What they're saying is, yes, it's a foul, but it's not a sending off. He didn't even get booked, right? When I watched it, so he didn't give a foul. When I watched it,
Oh, I know the incident you're talking about. Where
Yeah.
he was clean through.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one. When I
Yeah.
watched it today,
Yeah.
right, at no point when that ball is played towards
He didn't look at,
Mawani,
he didn't look at the ball.
he's not looked at the ball once.
Wow.
He's
No.
concentrated
On
on
man. Yeah.
Mawani
100%.
all the way until he's knocked him to the floor, and they said it's not a foul. I'm like, wow.
But the thing is, Sid, they'll go down the clear and obvious route, and they'll say if it's not clear and totally obvious against Tottenham,
Josh, when
But
you
again,
look
Josh,
at the
to
player,
back up Sid's point though, if Romero had committed that, he would have been off.
yes,
You see the difference?
Yeah,
100%. This is what I'm saying.
It's the media,
And they
media
say
lot,
no. It's ridiculous. But
it's
anyway,
the media hate for Spurs, right, guys? This is the beginning of 3-1.
Second
So
half.
this is 3-1 before 3-1, right? So it's 2-1. We're still in the game. Another goal, and of course we're in the game. But this is at the back here. Headering this ball is
Radu
Dragusin.
What is he doing?
Radu headers the ball. He headers the ball towards
Josh.
aiming for that player that I've got the arrow on. Yeah, go on.
I think before that though, there was a foul again on one of our players that should have gone in our favour, and then they proceeded forward and banged in the third. So again, the officiating was shocking.
Not fair. Wasn't fair.
But
So Radu here must have headed the ball into this player here, right? I don't know who this player is. I think it's Gallagher, right?
Gallagher. I think it's Gallagher.
Right. Okay. Now that he's doing that, I mean, unless you're one of the best headers in the ball and you've got super accuracy, you're likely to get it into that pack just there, halfway up the arrow. And that's exactly what he does. He misses his accuracy to Gallagher and it ends up at Eze's feet there, right? So he misses Gallagher, right? And it ends up at Eze's feet. Eze beats Bissouma on strength and pace, and then he's off, right? Saka beats, is that, I don't know who Saka's with. I think it's Van der Ven.
Or is it Archie Gray?
Two quick players. No, it's Van der Ven. They're two quick players. Eze wins the ball. Radu then takes out the Arsenal forward there, doesn't win the ball, and Eze runs past him with a clear shot on goal. Saka beats Van der Ven, and on the bottom right here, Polinia watches it all happen.
Of course.
Right? Now, I haven't got the next slide, but that's where Saka has a shot. It rebounds off Polinia's heel, and then Eze scores to make it 3-1. It was a bit of bad luck for that back heel to Eze.
The marking
it started from this. Yeah, it started from this, man. So it's just shocking, man. Shocking.
Going back to what I said before, when you play a number 6 as a centre back, this is what you're going to get. That happens out of position, doesn't know what's going on with his other centre backs. If that would have been a Byfield or Danso or whoever, that doesn't happen. Because the defender knows it.
Has to nudge it to the right.
They don't build up from the middle.
If he nudges it to the right, there's a clear route out up
the
pitch on the right. If he nudges it to the left, there's two Tottenham players there. But this is poor decision making.
That was the one negative, fellas, that you can definitely go at the new coach about. The failure to pay Paulina is in his natural position. It left us so exposed in the middle of the park, where Arsenal were just running through us at will, through the middle. If you see how they score their goals, all from the center. You know what I mean? This is set piece FC, by the way. Yeah.
We go to the first goal. It's lack of protecting space. The second goal that they score is lack of pressing, right? All self-inflicted. And the third goal is just bad decision making,
Yeah.
So Arsenal are not amazing. Amazing. We made their day a lot easier than it should have been. Wolves didn't do these mistakes. Brentford didn't make these mistakes.
The tormentor in chief, Eze, he probably will not score another goal for the rest of the season. But he's banged in 5 against us.
And so, I said before the game, Wolves will give Arsenal a harder game than we will.
Brentford, both of them did. Both
and
of them did.
Brentford, yeah, 100%. I knew it. I just knew it. You
You
know,
did, you call it.
that
Call it.
cock up in midweek against Wolves, they couldn't have had asked for a better game than Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
Isn't that a sad indictment though of where we are though?
It's really bad. It's sad, you know.
But
But
guys, we're making basic errors. We're making
I know we
basic
are.
errors. This is not
All
a team that has opened us up with crazy intricate play. We've given them space to pass, to run. You know, they wanted it more on the day. Eze there is more hungrier than Bissouma, right? Saka's there waiting. You know, these are simple, basic things. You know, like we shouldn't be losing basic deals. The one time Spence goes wide and crosses it in, we nearly score. Because if you remember, Spence goes down the line, crosses it, and Raya picks out the back of the net. Well, not at the back of the net, off the line.
To be fair,
one time we went forward,
this
guys.
is all news to me.
It's like Pipe said though. Why do we always have to be a goal or 2 goals down before we start doing stuff? That's the problem we've got. Why can't we just do it from the offset? We said this last season as well. Yeah. After the 10-game run, why can't we go at teams rather than waiting for them to score before we go into overdrive for 10 minutes and then back to reality? That is the problem we've got.
I'll go back to this. Yeah, Spence is not a left back. He's not even left footed.
No, he's not.
Archie Gray out of position.
He's not a right back.
Out of position. Yeah, he's not a right back. Right. No. He can't cross and he's not quick enough. Spence is not a left back, and although he was playing as a wing back on the day, because of Saka, he was pinned back, right, out of fear. The one time, Spence said, "You know what? Screw this. We're 3-1 down. I'm gonna try." And look what happens when he tries. Look, he does his man. Go back to that team. He does his man.
Go back to that team again.
Back to the
team.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Vicario is not a goalkeeper.
Nope.
Polina is not a defender.
Nope.
Dragusin is not a defender. Van der Ven is a sort of defender. Spence is not a left back. Papasar is not a midfielder. Basuna is not a midfielder. Gallagher is not a midfielder. Archie Gray is not a midfielder or a right back. Simons, at the moment, is not where he is. He's not that. And Mouani is not a striker. What have we got here apart from Van der Ven? That's it.
And even Van der Ven now, I'm coming to the conclusion that you take away his pace. Yeah. What have we really got? He gets caught out of position. He doesn't see danger. Like I said, we have to have honest discussions about the makeup of this squad. These players are not very good. Yeah, as I said, I was doing some nastiness earlier on in our WhatsApp group, you know, comparing some of these players to not even some of our top players, but some of our middling players. And they don't compare favorably to our middling players.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I even went as far as bringing up the 93-94 team that flirted with relegation. Yeah, you got Torsfet, you got Mitchell Thomas, you've got Dean Austin, you've got Calderwood, you've got who else? Popescu in the midfield, you've got Howells, you've got Klinsmann, you've got Sheringham,
Barmby, Anderton.
Barmby, exactly. How many players in this current team get to that side?
Exactly. Josh, go back to that team again. Josh. Yeah, right. Raya is a goalkeeper. Timber is a right back. All that defense is a proper defense. That midfield is a midfield. Them front three. You get me?
Yeah.
Exactly. So look at the difference.
Right. So then, okay, that I get that point, Sid. I get what you're saying. Is they're all playing like square pegs and round holes, yeah. But this is basic 101 coaching, right? Managing space. The one time we put pressure on them, we created a mistake. We scored a goal, but then we went back to this, and then we went back to this, back to that. Right, and then the one time we went forward, we nearly scored again. So again,
it's hard though.
We're making our lives more difficult than they need to be, is what I'm saying.
I hear you, but Josh, I still think, and you know me, I'm Mr. Negative at the best of times. I still think we have to be careful because Igor has been there 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So for him to implement his tactics fully on this team with their lack of quality and more importantly, their lack of confidence, character. I'm more leaning towards character. But this team has nothing. They have nothing. So
When do we blame the players?
that's the thing. We're not having that conversation.
If you put that lineup against Arsenal 10 weeks in a row, we're going to lose 10 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah.
So Tudor, why has he even gone with when he put Spence on the right? Spence, because he went to a back four for the last 20 minutes. When he put Spence on the right, Spence created a goal scoring chance. So is that not his fault? Why didn't he put Spence on the right where Archie Gray is?
Play
And why
Spence.
did he put Sousa
Play
on the
Spence's
left?
position and
It's a bit of natural width.
Those two things, I would definitely say he's made a massive mistake there. The rest, I'm not sure what he could have done in 5 days.
He could have put Gray at right back as well, third right centre back. So I think Tudor does deserve to have some blame. I don't think Tudor gets away with it fully.
No, you
but
can't.
I do feel sorry for him as well on what he's got available. So
yeah, you can't blame. You know what? How many days did he have with that team? He doesn't know all them players, and he's probably just looked at the.
He can't 5 days.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him.
So guys, this is the fourth goal. This is the fourth goal. Here you've got Van de Ven on the right. So you've got Radu looking at, I think, Odegaard. You're just looking at him, waiting. Yeah.
Every still that you've put on
Radu on the left. You've got Joker.
Yeah.
He's had a shit game. Radu had a shit game. You've got Jokeres on the left, who's beat Gray for pace.
Yep.
Right. You've got Radu who's staring at Odegaard. You've got Basuma running back. Right?
I mean, you've just nailed it there, Josh. I mean, Jokeres beating a player for pace. Think what you just said there. He's not very quick. Jokeres.
I don't know how quick he is, but he's beat Gray on the day, right? Little old Gray. He's then Gray's caught up. So you're right. Gray's caught up. Radu's watching it all happen. He doesn't cover. He doesn't help out. He ball watches, and it's in the back of the net.
But again, that next slide. That next slide where he's in the box. When you're watching it in real time, Archie Gray has to be stronger. There. He got brushed away like no man. And when you actually watch it,
why did we buy him?
He's 19, but he needs to have a little bit of strength. He didn't give him any hassle there.
Archie Gray.
No, but he's got it in him.
I know. I'm just giving the other side of the argument. Because Archie Gray's not a centre back. Danso would have pushed him off.
But Romero he's played there. Yeah, and I think, like we said,
I think that's a mismatch. I don't even know if Archie Gray is a 6, but he's something for the future. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but he's too lightweight.
Why is Radu not sensing? If that's Mickey's sensing that, and he's going sliding in. Even Romero is getting stuck in. Radu, whoever watches this or watching that, Radu let us down on the day. For me, Radu was the worst defender on the day, having watched it back. It didn't feel like on the day. It felt like everyone had a shit game, but Radu was
I think they were all a shower. Let's be honest, man. They were all a shower of shit.
Now, the reason I put this up, guys, this is the average positions on the left of our team. Obviously, we're white. So that's the average positions. And on the right is the average positions of the Arsenal team. So one thing to notice here is look at how many players Arsenal have over the full 95 minutes over their halfway line.
7.
There's only 2 at the 2 below it, right? Number 2 and number 6, right? Saliba and Gabriel. If you look at our team, there's only 2 ahead of the halfway line.
Yeah.
Right.
Shocking.
So that in itself is showing that we just camped in.
We basically camped in and hoped to get a mistake out of Arsenal. We played that way in the first game at the Emirates, and we played that way yesterday. We played 3 at the back, we're playing 5 at the back, but essentially we're playing 5 defenders, yet we've been smashed for 8 goals in the 2 games. How is that happening?
And if you look at that, and if you just gave somebody that, right, not tell them which team's which, they're going to tell you that this team in the white are looking at a counter-attacking, right? Counter-attacking.
I'm playing like their wayside.
Counter-attacking with no players that can run. Yeah. How are we going to score with counter-attacking football when we haven't got any players that can sprint?
It's frightening. It's frightening, isn't it, Sid? When you
it's frightening.
These are common sense things. How can we counter-attack with players who don't run and don't they don't go forward? Every time the player on the ball doesn't have an option. doesn't have a player to pass to because they're all looking away. They don't want the ball. Yeah, you've got Xavi in the first half. All right, on the face of it, he's made a shocking pass across his area, but he had no one to pass to.
Yeah.
He had no one to
It's
pass to.
shocking.
Guys, if you're going to play 3 at the back, right, the idea is that you have your wing backs attacking the flanks and creating opportunities for your forward players. I'll put 2 white arrows there because number 24 Spence was stuck in there with Van der Ven behind him because Saka was pinning him back, and Archie Gray barely got out of his own half. So what was Kolo Muani supposed to do? He had no crosses, he had no service. All he had was long balls, and he had Javi who can't hold on to the ball, right? So for me, I'm looking at Igor Tudor and I'm saying, if you're playing wing backs, which you did, why have you not given Gray the license to get up? Or was it Archie Gray not having the confidence to do it?
But Josh, Thomas Frank was doing this. Frank was doing this as well.
But why? So is it the players? Because you don't play a 3 at the back unless your wing backs are going to attack. That's just basic.
Agreed. The ideal scenario is that when you attack, your wing backs flood forward, leave the 3 at the back. When you're defending, you revert back into a 5. Yeah,
correct.
But it's like we do neither. And as I said, we still get smashed for 8 goals.
So this comes back to the argument of the players either are lacking confidence to play the game because they play the game, not the manager, and the manager's telling them attack down the flanks, or they're short of confidence, the players. They don't believe in themselves because they don't want to lose the ball and get booed and end up with, you know, criticism. Or the coach is then telling them, no, chill, don't attack. I don't know who it is at the moment. I don't know if it's Igor telling them to chill or if it's Archie Gray not attacking. Or number 3 is the opposition boss has pinned us back so much and he's suffocated us so much that the players have no choice but to retreat.
Well, it could be a mixture of all 3, if truth be told, because at the end of the day, teams, when they play us, they smell the nervousness of our players. We cannot pass the ball 5 yards. So by Nate.
We lost him. Sid, you there?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on, back. You're back.
Right, yeah. As I said, you have players who are hiding on that pitch. Yeah? They retreat. They can't pass the ball 5 yards. So the opposition smell that nervousness and they pounce on us.
So what happened in the second half versus Man City then?
I think what happened, as I said before, we were so shocking in the first half. I personally believed, and I will still stand by this, probably Romero went around the dressing room and had a few of them up by the bloody throat, and the players just said, fuck this. We're going to come out in the second half. A little bit of professional pride kicked in. But so they played with a little bit of intensity, put their foot in a bit. The crowd got up when we scored our first goal, and suddenly the players had a bit about themselves. But then we, as I said earlier, we equalised, and then the players, we went back into their shell again. So it's either a confidence thing or a lack of belief thing in their own ability. But
we'll come back to this question from Steve.
We're not a progressive team. We're not a progressive team.
What you're saying is, so what you're saying is they do have it in them when they want it.
They have what? No, well, you know what? Even that is debatable. I think the issue is they lose the handbrake when the game's gone. The game's gone, nothing to lose. Suddenly they come out and start playing. As Sid has said, as we've all said, why don't you start the match like this? When the match starts, they're inhibited, they're nervous, the crowd sense it, the atmosphere, as everyone keeps telling us, is poor, and then we go a goal down or go 2 goals down.
Do you think that the next game, if we're 1-0 down, the fans play a part in getting them over the line with that mentality?
But Josh, as I said early in the show, the fans yesterday at that game played their parts. I'm sitting this game. The atmosphere just before kickoff and about 5-10 minutes in, the fans played their part, but the players didn't respond.
So are you blaming the
What more
players?
can the fans do?
Are you blaming the players? You can't blame Igor then, yeah, because he's only been here 5 minutes. You're saying the
No, I'm
players.
blaming the players. 100% I'm blaming the players. The players have to face judgment now. You know what I mean? We know about the board. We know the absolute demonic, incompetent shower that is the board. But sooner or later, the judgment has to switch to those players. Yeah, I repeat, they've been a shower for nearly 2 seasons now. Yeah, gone through what, 3 managers? Those players now have to face judgment now. They have to be accountable. They're a disgrace.
Right, Sid, we've got here the attack map. The attack map shows the areas where each team attacked. Tottenham Hotspur attacked down the left, but they failed to attack down the middle and the right-hand side. Arsenal attacked on the left, the middle, and the right.
All over.
Whose fault is that?
As I said earlier, it's a confidence thing and a lack of belief thing.
Yeah, 100%. And these players
why
don't
are
want
we
to
not
do what
attacking that middle and the right? Why are we
because
not attacking that middle
who's
and the
supposed
right?
to be attacking? Who's supposed to be attacking on the right? Spence, Archie Gray. Archie Gray is not a winger. He's not an attacking right back.
Archie Gray is a nothing. As I've said from day one, he's a nothing.
Yeah. He's not gonna do that. He can't. You can't play Archie Gray as a right wing back and expect him to go up and down that line. He's good at sometimes defending. He's good at in the middle, but on a wing back, no. That middle there, that position was vacant. Yeah, Gallagher didn't turn up. Right? I don't know. And Simons is not. Simon turns up now and then, but then for Simons to turn up, everybody else needs to turn up for him to have his A game. So that's the reason why. And you could probably say that Tudor probably, but then again, yeah, he didn't have anybody else. And what I don't understand is, at some point, why don't introduce Williams Barnett? He's a youngster, but he would probably given a bit more than some of them players did, and he probably would have given us a little bit of width.
And all the reports on him are saying that he's supposed to be one of the real up and comers. You know,
yeah.
Again, as you said, there's no route of progression with this team. You know,
and
it's I don't know, mate. I don't. It's a
and
shower.
You're not playing well. You're getting beat. You bring on a youngster. What's that youngster going to do? He wants to go and show in a North London derby what he's made of. Yeah. And he probably would have given 110, 20, 30% more than any of them other players did. You know what I mean? So this is the problem. So if you're putting round pegs in square holes, it's not going to work. I don't care. Archie Gray is not a right wing back. You can't run up and down and cross the ball in.
So then that comes back to the question, at least if we put Spence as a right wing back and put Sousa as a left wing back, we might have created more chances down the
100%
right-hand side. Big cross.
Because
so that's on Tudor.
It's not on Tudor because Tudor doesn't know what Sousa is like. He's only, like Pipe said, he's only been there a couple of days. He's going off previous teams, previous games, and what he sees in training. He can't put Sousa in because Frank didn't put Sousa in.
I think he's put Spence left back to stop Saka and Saka only. That's why.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But then that in itself is fear, right? Wolves went on to attack Arsenal in the second half, right? And they managed to get.
You know what struck me, Josh,
as
well? You know what struck me about the Wolves game as compared to our game? Arsenal went 2-0 up, did they not? And they retreated to try and hold the 2-0. Against us, they kept coming forward. They kept going forward. You see what I'm saying to you? So they have more respect for Wolves than they do us.
Pipes,
Yeah.
Wolves
Listen, guys,
played.
I've got to go, yeah?
Oh, you got to go, Sid. All right, cool.
Yeah, I've got to shoot.
I've got to depart as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Pipes, let's finish off then. So, Pipes, look, this is Wolves. They play 3 at the back, yeah? And if I show you Wolves' average positions, can you see that 38, 9, 27, and 36? You see how 4 players are ahead of the halfway line?
Yeah.
Right? And then obviously you saw on our one, there's only 2 or 1.
We had a couple of breakaways yesterday, Josh, in that game. I think was Simmons was running with the ball. And again, he had no forward players ahead of him to pass to. Yeah. So, like I said, Tottenham just don't have any confidence or will about them. When we go forward, nothing. When we defend, nothing. We're not a unit. Midfield, nothing. So again, I go back to our original argument earlier in the show about us and where we're going to find these wins from when the team is so dysfunctional. How are we going to win?
Yeah, no, it's pretty shocking. I mean, like, you know, I wanted to go through these slides just to show some of the basic errors, but then just to finish off on this one, mate, this one shows ball progression. So this is basically, you know, any kid growing up, you get the ball to your feet and you try and progress it up the pitch.
Of course.
Look at all those yellow dots. That's Arsenal's players. They're all on the right side because they're progressing the ball a lot more than we are. And look how we're all camped in on the left. And the players, including Tudor now, need to look at this and say, look, if we're going to sit back and fear the opposition from the next game, that's Fulham away, we're not going to win anything. Unless you're one of the best counter-attacking teams with serious pace, and you've got someone like a Mourinho or a Conte, and you've got the squad to go with it, you can win trophies with counter-attacking.
Of course you can.
Champions League, you can win Premier Leagues. But Tudor ain't that guy, and we ain't got
a personnel.
Let alone 25 players, we ain't got 15 at the moment. So this worries me, right? But the only bit of saving grace I'll take from this is that we played a decent team. As much as I hate the enemy and the guys in the comments are having a field day with it, but we played a decent team. You'd like to think against Fulham, we won't see this again. But if we see this against Fulham, we've got problems.
I hope you're right, Josh. I mean, you said it earlier on, to be fair. The games against Fulham, Palace, and Forest are the actual money games. I believe we need at least a minimum of 6 points from those 3 games. If we get less than 6 points from those 3 matches, we're in serious problems.
I think if the team sets up to be in the red circle against Fulham, we'll either draw or win, but it'll be, if we lose, it'll be because we had a go, right? If we do what we did against Arsenal and be in the left circle, we're hoping for some serious clinical finishing on the day. We haven't got, as much as Brendan Johnson was crap, we haven't got his pace anymore. We haven't got Kudos. We haven't got Kulusevski. We haven't got Maddison. We haven't got Sonny, obviously, he's left the club. We haven't got those runners in behind to play the counter-attacking system.
It's actually sobering, though, my friend. Isn't it sobering, though? Isn't it sobering for you to think, my God, we could do with Johnson now? Could we not?
Just for the pace and the finish, of course we could do with Johnson. But the thing is, if we had Johnson and we had Kudos and we had Kulusevski, you could play a counter-attacking system against Arsenal and maybe even win. But the fact we ain't got the players, I don't know where Tudor goes from here. Now, when we go to Fulham, and I'll go back to these fixtures, when we go to Fulham, we cannot be in that red circle. We cannot be in that white circle. We cannot be camped in and just expect to win. So I'm going to let this Arsenal result be a lesson rather than just, make me mad. But this weekend, is it this weekend?
It's this weekend, yep.
This weekend, when we go Fulham away, and at Fulham away, yes, this is a difficult ground. Yes, I think the manager's out of contract on the summer. Yes, the players are playing, whatever. But if we go to Fulham and we don't attack, right, and we don't have more than 3 or 4 players above the halfway line, I don't see how we don't have a Harry Kane. We don't have a magical player that can pull up. We don't have an Eden Hazard. We don't have those sort of players that can pull out a goal.
To be fair, we were having the discussion earlier on about the teams that we would prefer to play. And to be honest with you, when you look at it, Fulham is one of those teams because they're not going to get relegated and they're not really in the hunt for Europe. They're comfortably mid-table. So really, that's one of the teams we should be happy to play. But again, you can't hang your hat on this team or this set of players because they're not showing anything at the moment.
The thing is, where I feel a bit of sympathy for Mr. Tudor, Mr. Igor, is this is just a little snapshot here, Pipes, of the number of crosses that come in by players in the Premier League, yeah, from the highest at the top. So you've got Szoboszlai for Liverpool, number one for crosses. These are successful crosses, by the way. You look down the bottom there, you've got Bruno Fernandes. You've got top players. You've got Saka, obviously. You've got Rice. You've got two Arsenal players up there. Where are the Tottenham players, right? Where are the Tottenham players? At the moment, who's going to cross the ball, right? Who's going to cross the ball? You look at, for example, through ball. There's no Tottenham players in the through balls. You look at through balls.
We don't know what that.
We lost this.
I can't remember the last time.
But
the last time we played a through pass was in black and white TV, mate.
This is it, my man. So I look at our team and I think even if we want to play attacking football, how do we do it? I mean, we have to find a way, because if you don't attack, I don't believe you're going to have a chance of winning, because you can't just defend the whole game. We're not playing Real Madrid away. You know, we're happy with the draw.
Right.
So I look at these players, kudos. You know, I look at this chart here. Where's the creativity? Where are the crosses at? Arsenal got two players in there. Man United got a player in there. Fulham got a player in there, I believe, somewhere. No, Nottingham Forest, Anderson. Defensive duels, yeah, defensive duels, pipes. Yeah, you look at these defensive duels. You've got Van Dijk, right? Let me get rid of this comment, right? Let me get rid of this comment, right? So you got Van Dijk, right, at the top. You got Tarkowski, yeah, for Everton. Romero's out. Who's going to win the duels? Yeah, who's going to win the duels? You know what I mean? So
I mean, the players don't engage. They don't engage their opponent. We just stand off them. We form a guard of honor and let teams play around us. Not just Arsenal, who are a good team, as you say, a decent team. We've let average teams do that to us. And we've let average teams do that to us for, like I said...
Even then, though, Pipes, we ain't got the players at the moment. So this guy has going to have to find a way, and there's no way he can play Archie Gray, in my opinion, the way he did. He needs to have creativity on the width to create some sort of opportunity. We can't just be a narrow, long ball team. You know, with respect to Muani, who had a good game, he's not Drogba. He's not Drogba. You know what I mean? So you can't just keep going long to him. He's not.
Obviously, with our 13 players that we have, where does this creativity come from?
Well, I was just about to say, look who's on the list for most crosses for Tottenham. Pedro Porro.
Or I knew, Joe.
Yeah. Now, whatever you think about Pedro Porro going the other way, he's a top 10. He's in the, no, this is stats. He's in the top 10. But my point is perhaps this. Man. If you're going to play three at the back, which Mr. Tudor, you're going to do, I'm giving him respect, Mr. Tudor, you're going to play three at the back. That's fine. We've accepted that now. Yeah, we know that's whether we accept it or not, he's going to play three at the back. Who's he going to play at the right wing back? Pedro's out. Now, when Pedro's back, you can play Pedro. It's going to take a couple of games to get back to it. I don't know how this three at the back system is going to work with what he's got, is all I'm saying. You know, the right side of our team, if you remember the beginning of Thomas Frank's era, it was Porro to Kudos, Kudos to Richarlison.
That was our mode of attack, basically.
That was our mode of attack down the right-hand side. On the left, Udogie, and then obviously, whether it's Odegaard, who's again injured. On the left, who have we got to hold up the left-hand side? We haven't got anyone to create. And this is what I say to people. Tottenham probably won't get relegated. But when you look at the lack of creativity and the system this man plays, it's like chalk and cheese. And that's what worries me.
Again, you know, we are hopeful we won't get relegated, but we can't say this with certainty. And again, you can say the system this man plays, but again, the players have to be held to judgment. The players that listen, they've seen off what, 2-3 managers now. These players, they have to step up. Somebody, somewhere, do something, anything, just to galvanize the team and galvanize the fans. Step up, be a man, and show something. Show, like I said, you're prepared to carry the team on your back. We only need one.
You know what I would do, Pipes? You know what I would do right now, mate? I'd go 4-4-2. I'd go.
I'm not against that, mate. I'm not against that, because it seems like it's almost like a dirty word, but at the moment, it's needs must. Yeah. If you've got the two strikers, Ian and Muani, or Richarlison,
we're gonna go long. I'd rather have Solanke and Muani and give them an opportunity.
Well, at the end of the day, history tells us if you're going to play long ball, a la Watford and I don't know, Wimbledon back in the day, you're gonna have the two strikers upfield. You can't play long ball to one striker up front. Yeah. So
which is what we tried to do on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's needs must. So even though he may have a system that he likes, right now he's in firefighter mode. So he's got to come in. Everyone keeps saying give him time. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. So really and truthfully, see the hands you've been dealt. Look at the cards you've been given, and basically pick accordingly. Because right now it's about results. It's not about philosophy. It's not even about really style of play. We just need to somehow find, to quote Don P, we need to find these 10 points from somewhere, somehow.
Yeah. Because we will look back at this. If we get relegated, we'll look back at this result as a turning point.
I mean, even what you've just said there makes me shudder, because I cannot conceive visually us being relegated. I can't even think what I would do if we was to be relegated. You know, the answer I make may not be very politically correct.
If we don't look, that's a debate for another day. But my point is that we gave Arsenal time, schoolboy errors, respected them overly when they won 2-7. Why did we respect them? But we respected them.
Exactly.
That's the formation.
That's the hurtful thing.
The formation he went for had the wrong players in certain positions. I know he's hamstrung and he can't really pick much at the moment, but Spence should have gone right back. And on the left, I know he's young and he's only just got here, but even if he just put, for me, you got the Spence Gray thing wrong. But then more importantly is these players are so scared that every time they got the ball pipes, you know, you must have seen this on the weekend, it's like a hot potato.
100%.
It's
like a grenade.
When we got pressed, we looked like we were going back.
We cannot.
Thinking you don't want to go Vicario because you know what's going to happen there potentially.
That's the thing. You see, so you have nervous players, and then you're passing back to a keeper who makes you nervous. So it's just a nervous environment all around.
And then you have one guy up front.
The opposition, they smell that nervousness, so they suffocate us.
Yep.
It's frightening.
As much as I thought Ange was a madman, and I know you're not a fan of Ange at all, but I know as much as I thought he was a madman, I genuinely think he tried to win every game. I genuinely think he tried to win.
We'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, probably the first season, but definitely the second season when he decided to concentrate on the Europa and bin the league, I question his motives about winning league matches. And I repeat, the disease has carried over into this season, and I just hope, for all our sakes, it's not fatal.
Absolutely, man, and that's probably a good point to wrap up the show.
Leave it there, my brother.
Thanks, Pipes, man. Thanks for coming on. Thank you to Sid. Josh. Thank you to Don P. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Steve, and there's a couple of Gooners in here. So yeah. Don't worry.
There will be.
You enjoy it. Don't think anything, mate. It's, you know what I mean? Like, we helped them with the 2 points dropped versus Man City. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Arsenal. I still think they're going to bottle it, and I'm sure you're in a similar camp.
I'm hoping, but we'll see.
But I the thing is, at the moment, I just don't see how, with this formation and with the injuries we got, I don't see where we go from here. But
I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm hoping, believe me, despite what I've said tonight, I'm hoping that we come on here next week and we're all happy because we've beaten Fulham by some way, somehow. Yeah? Because obviously, if we get that first win on the board, then hopefully we'll get the other 2 or 3 wins that we need. But it's about finding that first win. And you're talking about a set of players who are just used to losing. They haven't won a league fixture in 2026. They've won 2 since August. They've won 5 in nearly over a year and a half. So,
do you know the problem is, Pipes? Nottingham Forest, they're losing at the moment. West Ham have lost 1 in 5. Leeds have picked up 5 points in the last couple of games, last 3 games. I genuinely don't mean to say this like I'm a drama queen, but I think it's going to be Tottenham or Forest that go down.
Well, look at it like this, Josh. A couple of weeks ago, and you can check back. Yeah, if I've slightly exaggerated, we were 11 points clear of the drop zone. It's now down to 4. Yeah, the descent is a little too rapid for our liking. We're conceding goals at an alarming rate. We're not scoring.
See this table here, Pipes. At the bottom is Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. This is created chances. This is created chances. And in football, I don't care what anyone says. If you don't create chances, you're likely not to win the game.
You're not going to win the game. The best you can hope for if you don't create is a 0-0. Yeah.
And at the moment, we're not creating chances, and that is that is the biggest sign of relegation, as well as the injuries and the manager change. That for me, if we were creating chances and we were losing, I'd be like, cool.
Right now, Josh, we are displaying all the hallmarks of a team that is going down. Yeah.
Yep.
We have to face this and be honest. Until this cycle is broken, we are displaying all the hallmarks of a team that are hurtling towards the championship. And the thing that is the absolute killer is that if we do get sucked into that bottom 3, we don't have the characters who have the stomach for the fight. Yeah?
Yep. Yep.
They don't.
And Sam Allardyce and Tony Pulis will tell you that we never had the better players to survive relegation.
Right, exactly. They had character.
Yep. And at the moment,
this is the state of the season we're at now. Character.
Going up the weekend, I didn't see much character. I saw effort in phases from certain players, but I never saw anyone grabbing anyone on the 60th minute.
Someone has to, as I said, just before we go now, someone has to be the catalyst and say, you know what, I'm going to drag this team on my back. I repeat, it only needs one player, but someone has to step up and put their head above the parapet. Somebody, anybody, somebody. And on that note, I'll bid you a good night.
I don't know who that guy is, but listen, if you know who he is, let me know. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next one, which will be next Monday, 10 o'clock. We'll have the same gang in the room. Thanks for joining, and come on, you Spurs.
Bless up, mate.